People think history fights were quick duels, but many were slow, personal, and deadly, shocking crowds across continents, according to records, and the truth behind these one-on-one battles will stun you. Some fights began with pride, some with love, some with revenge, yet each ended lives forever, revealing three terrifying truths about power, honor, and fear that most history books barely explain. First, many deadly duels were legal and celebrated. Second, witnesses often cheered death. And third, winners rarely escaped punishment, but the real story behind all this is even darker. These were not myths or movies, but real clashes where two people faced everything alone, and what happened next shaped nations, laws, and legends in ways you never expect. Let me show you exactly how this happened. Starting with why humans across cultures kept choosing single combat instead of armies, even when the cost was blood and broken futures. For centuries, one-on-one fights were seen as proof of truth, strength, and justice, especially when courts were weak. Rulers were distant, and personal honor mattered more than survival itself. In Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, leaders reportedly allowed duels to settle disputes, believing fate or God would choose the rightful winner through steel, skill, and suffering. This mattered because a single fight could end wars, decide marriages, or change power, and common people watched closely, believing these moments revealed how the world truly worked. But here's a surprise. Many fighters did not hate each other. They were friends, rivals, or relatives, forced by rules, pride, or public pressure to fight anyway. Another shock, most duels had strict rules, chosen weapons, and witnesses, turning violence into a ritual, which somehow made death feel acceptable to everyone watching. And the strangest part, some losers begged to stop, but crowds reportedly demanded blood, showing how social pressure can push ordinary people toward deadly outcomes. Now here's where things get really interesting, because the first shocking fight shows how a single mistake turned a controlled duel into a nightmare no one could undo. According to sources, two skilled fighters met at dawn, expecting a fair contest, but one slipped on wet ground, dropping his guard for just one heartbeat. That tiny moment changed everything, because the other fighter reacted instantly, striking hard, and the blade hit a vital spot, ending the fight in seconds. The crowd fell silent, realizing how fragile life was, and how one small error could erase years of training, dreams, and family futures forever. Think about your daily life. One text, one step, one choice can change everything. And these fighters lived with that truth every time they faced another human alone. Paint this scene clearly: cold air, tense faces, weapons shaking slightly, and a silence so loud it feels heavy, because everyone knows someone might not walk away. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this, because the next deadly fight was not about skill, but about pride spiraling out of control. Reportedly, two respected warriors argued over an insult, small words that spread fast, and soon honor demanded a fight, even though neither truly wanted blood. They agreed to meet publicly, making backing out impossible, since shame would follow them forever, proving how reputation can trap people into terrible choices. When the fight began, both hesitated, circling slowly, hoping the other would yield, but the crowd's restless noise pushed them closer, step by step. Then one attacked suddenly, not to kill, but to scare, yet fear makes hands shake, and the blow landed deeper than planned, causing fatal wounds. This shows another wow moment. Deadly outcomes often came from accidents, not intent, reminding us that violence rarely stays controlled once it starts. But wait, because the third fight reveals something even darker: how authorities sometimes encourage these duels to maintain order through fear. In one region, leaders reportedly allowed champions to fight instead of armies, believing fewer deaths were better, but the psychological cost was huge. Two chosen fighters faced each other, carrying the hopes of thousands. Knowing defeat meant disgrace or death, and victory meant lifelong trauma. The winner survived, but sources suggest he was never the same, haunted by faces, cheers, and the moment he ended another life alone. Here's the pattern forming. One-on-one fights were not heroic tests, but pressure cookers, mixing pride, fear, and public expectation until something broke. Now remember this question: were these fights really about justice? Or were they tools used by society to control anger and power? A question we will soon answer. The next deadly duel adds another layer, because this time, the fighters were reportedly family, bound by blood and torn apart by inheritance disputes. They met secretly, hoping to avoid scandal, but secrecy made things worse, since no mediator could stop them once emotions exploded. During the fight, hesitation returned. tears mixed with sweat, and yet neither could stop, because backing down meant losing everything they believed defined them. One fell, mortally wounded, and the survivor reportedly collapsed. Realizing victory felt exactly like loss, teaching a brutal lesson about unresolved conflict. Plot twist: some cultures later banned duels not for safety, but because survivors became unstable, threatening social order through guilt and anger. This brings us to a wider truth. Repeated across continents, these fights shaped laws, pushing societies to replace blades with courts and words. Yet even with bans, secret duels continued, proving that human desire for direct confrontation never fully disappeared. Before we reach the biggest reveal, hold this thought: what happens when law fails and people feel unheard? A clue hiding in every deadly duel story. Because the next fight shows how desperation, not honor, can drive two people into a fatal meeting under the open sky. According to accounts, both fighters had nothing left, no money, no allies, and saw the duel as their final chance to reclaim dignity. They fought fiercely, ignoring wounds until both collapsed, showing how despair can erase survival instincts completely. Crowds reportedly watched in horror, realizing this was not justice, but tragedy unfolding slowly, with no real winner at all. This moment shocked communities, sparking debates that echoed for generations about whether violence ever truly solves personal conflict. And yet, history repeated itself, because the next deadly fight proves lessons are often learned, then forgotten, then paid for again in blood. So far, we have seen accidents, pride, power, family, and despair, all leading to deadly outcomes. But the most shocking discovery is still ahead. Take a breath, because the final battles reveal a system behind these fights, connecting all these stories into one chilling pattern. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. Many deadly one-on-one fights were not failures of control, but successful tools of social pressure. Authorities reportedly allowed or ignored duels because fear kept people obedient, showing how violence can become a silent partner of power. When people believe honor must be defended with blood, they police themselves, saving rulers' effort, but creating endless personal tragedies. Look back at each fight. Accidents punished carelessness, pride punished insults, family fights punished greed, and despair punished weakness, all reinforcing social rules. This reframes everything, because these duels were lessons written in bodies, teaching communities how to behave without written laws. So what does all this mean for us today, especially for viewers living far from swords and formal duels? The short answer: human conflict has not changed. Only the weapons and stages have, moving from fields to screens, courts, and streets. Online arguments, public shaming, and legal battles mirror old duels, where pride, audience pressure, and fear still drive people toward destructive choices. In the short term, societies that glorify confrontation often see rising violence, according to studies, because people copy what appears rewarded or admired. Long-term, unresolved conflict damages trust, mental health, and cooperation, slowing progress and deepening divisions across communities. The takeaway is simple: systems that offer fair voices reduce violent outcomes, while silence and shame push people toward extremes. But there is one final thing you need to know, a last twist that changes how we see these deadly fights forever. Sources suggest many famous duels were later exaggerated, turning complex tragedies into heroic myths, hiding pain to make stories easier to tell. This myth-making encouraged more duels, creating a loop where stories caused deaths, and deaths created more stories, feeding endlessly. When we strip away legend, what remains are humans making choices under pressure, just like us, but with fewer safe exits. That realization closes the loop from our opening, because the shocking truth is not that people fought, but that society applauded it. If this opened your eyes, remember these stories next time conflict feels unavoidable, because history shows another path always exists. We can choose conversation over confrontation, systems over ego, and understanding over spectacle, breaking cycles that once demanded blood. Before you go, think about this question: which modern conflicts today feel like old duels just wearing new clothes? Share your thoughts below, because learning from history only works when we talk about it together. If you found value here, like the video to help others discover these stories. Subscribe for more cinematic history that reveals hidden truths behind famous events. And if you want to go deeper, watch the next video exploring untold revenge stories that changed history forever. Like, subscribe and share because understanding the past helps us survive the future.